What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are sitting in a Volkswagen Atlas and we are going to teach you how to use the adaptive cruise control in this car. So if we're looking at the steering wheel, the controls for the adaptive cruise control are going to be on the left side. So the first step that we want to do is make sure that it is on. So if you push this little button right here with the little speedometer with the 0 and the 1, that turns it on and off. And if we're looking at the correct screen by scrolling through in here, we can make sure that the adaptive cruise control is on. Another way to do it is if you push this button, then we can use our little things here, and we want to make sure that ACC is active. So please activate the main switch. Activate the main switch, and there you go. That's also how you would switch it to regular cruise control. So that's step one, make sure that the adaptive cruise control is active. Once we're out on the road, we're gonna get the car up to speed and press SET for set to set our speed. The plus and minus right here are going to adjust the speed that we have the adaptive cruise control set to. RES is resume, so if the vehicle comes to a complete stop, we can push that button to get it moving again. We can also just tap the gas pedal to get it moving again. And then this button with the little car with the trail of sonar beams coming out of the back of it, this adjusts our following distance. So you'll see in that center screen, as I push this button right here, the following distance is adjusted. So with all that being said, I do have the system turned on, so we're gonna take it out on the road right now and I'm gonna demonstrate it for you. All right, so we are out on the road, we're getting up to speed, so I'm gonna press SET to set my speed, and then I'm gonna press the plus button a couple of times so that I can keep up with traffic. And as you can see right now, there is no car close enough to me for our vehicle to lock onto. So the way the adaptive cruise control works, if you have the speed set at a speed where you're not catching up to the person in front of you, or there's no cars at all in front of you, it just acts as a regular cruise control system. Now, as you can see, the person in front of us is slowed down a little bit, so we have a little icon of a car on the center screen. That indicates that we are locked on to the person in front of us. Now, the person is slowing down, and I can feel this car is slowing down. You can see the speedometer. I do not have my foot on the brake. And the light is red. Okay, he gets out of my way. So now I'm gonna hit the brakes. So what I was waiting for it to do there, which it didn't do, and it's fine, this is a learning experience, is I was waiting for it to lock onto this car, and it just wasn't doing it quickly enough for my liking. The way the adaptive cruise control systems are set up is it's meant to be locked onto the car in front and maintain a speed with that person. If you're coming up, now I'm just gonna press resume, and the car is accelerating on its own. If you're coming up to a stationary vehicle, as I was in that scenario, it may lock on and it may not. It probably would have brought itself to a complete stop, but I don't want to be that guy, so I just hit the brake on my own. I highly recommend that that is what you do when you're using this system in your car too. This is not a self-driving system. I am watching the road. I have my hand on the steering wheel. I am paying attention. What this system is a driver assistance system, and it works fabulously, especially in stop and go traffic, because it can bring itself to a complete stop, as I demonstrated earlier, and it's also really good at pacing traffic, like when everybody's kind of slowing down and speeding up. You're going 4 miles an hour, you're going 12 miles an hour. I'm keeping an eye on that guy, I'm keeping an eye on this guy. So the car locked onto that white car for a minute and I felt it slowing down, but now we are speeding back up and cruising along. Let's see. So I am approaching, I can see a red light up ahead, and I'm approaching traffic again. And let's see, we've locked onto the car in front, and now I can feel this car slowing down. So now it's doing its job. And we're slowing down, it's slowing down on its own. and we are just moving forward. He gets out of the way. Now, let's see. It is locked onto the car in front of us now, so I'm not going to intervene. Again, that's how you know when it's locked on, when it shows you that little picture of another car in front. That means it sees this person right here. And now we are sitting at a stop. I'm not doing anything. I don't have my foot on the brake. The car is just waiting patiently for my input and for this car to move forward. So a couple of things to keep in mind with this system. First of all, like I said, it's not self-driving. You have to pay attention, watch the road, keep your hands on the wheel. If somebody cuts you off really sharply from the side, that's another scenario where you would want to hit the brakes, intervene on your own. Now we're going to start moving again, and I'm just going to tap the gas pedal. And I just tapped the gas very quickly and took my foot off of it. And now the car is accelerating on its own, following the vehicle in front. We are still locked on, and we're moving ahead. Another thing to pay attention to is what type of vehicle am I following? The example that I always use when I make these videos is a flatbed delivery truck with nothing on the bed. So if you're following something like that, just some strangely shaped vehicle, pay attention. Am I locked on to the back of the truck or the back of the cab? Pay attention to the car's following distance. Another thing is motorcycles. I'm always leery of using the adaptive cruise with motorcycles. I've used adaptive cruise control in a lot of cars. Normally, they will lock onto a motorcycle, but I really don't like doing that just because, you know, number one, it's a smaller target for the vehicle to see. A lot of the owner's manuals will tell you it won't lock onto a motorcycle. I think they're saying that for liability purposes. But there's a whole lot less room for error. If you hit somebody on a motorcycle, it's going to go a lot worse than if they're in a car. So I avoid using it to follow motorcycles. You also want to be mindful of weather conditions. Obviously, in rainy conditions, you would want to lengthen your following distance out, again, by pushing this button to use one of the longer following distances, just to give the car longer to bring itself to a complete stop. And in snowy or icy conditions, I wouldn't recommend using it at all because those conditions can be relatively treacherous, and I think it's better to be paying full attention to the car. The best scenario, like I said, I think to use this in is the stop and go traffic on the freeway situation, because it is just so much more pleasant when you're stuck in a traffic jam to let the adaptive cruise control kind of take care of a lot of that for you. Whenever I am using it on the freeway, I'm just going to press resume, RES, and the car is accelerating on its own. Whenever I'm using it on the freeway, I always use the shortest following distance to prevent people from wanting to cut me off as much. If you use one of the longer following distances in heavy traffic, you're leaving enough room in front of you to where another driver can get in front of you, and then this car will see that another car got in front, and then it'll try to slow down to leave that longer distance, and then that situation will repeat ad nauseum until you end up going in reverse on the 405 freeway. So that's why I always use the shortest following distance. If you're out on the open road, you can kind of use one of the longer ones. Oh, we're coming up on a motorcycle. All right. It's slowing down. I have my foot hovering above the brake pedal. Okay, so see, the car clearly recognized the motorcycle, and we stopped. It did that on its own. But like I said, it always makes me nervous. I had my foot right over the brake pedal just in case if the car didn't want to cooperate, because I would hate to hit anybody in any car, but especially somebody on a motorcycle. And we're just going to let traffic creep forward a little bit here. So that's the basics of it. Once again, we're going to start moving. I'm going to tap the gas. And it does appear that we are properly locked on to this person on the motorcycle. So good on Volkswagen's adaptive cruise control system for recognizing that. But again, I am paying attention and watching the situation. But yeah, that is essentially how you use this system. If you have a Volkswagen with it, I highly recommend trying it out. It is a fantastic system, but once again, this is not self-driving. You need to pay attention to the road. You need to keep your hand on the steering wheel. and be responsible for your own actions, but it is a fantastic driver aid system. I don't know if that showed up on camera. We just went through a yellow light, not a red light, but a yellow light. One more quick thing. It does not recognize stoplights. So if you're just driving and you have the adaptive cruise control set and there's nobody in front of you and the light turns red, it doesn't know from stoplights. So you better hit the brakes or else you will be running a red light, which is illegal in most jurisdictions. So anyway, that is how you use the adaptive cruise control system in a Volkswagen. I hope you liked my video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always drive safely and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.